Hello students, myself Anna Sahib Gorane, RVNB College Srirampur. Today we see chapter from 12th science, that is dual nature of radiation and matter. Firstly we see introductory part of the chapter. We know optics. Optics is a science of light, and we know different optical phenomena such as reflection, refraction, interference, diffraction and polarization of light. And we also know light is an electromagnetic radiation. It is an electromagnetic radiation. You know electromagnetic wave. In electromagnetic wave, there is oscillating electric and magnetic field which is mutually perpendicular to each other and perpendicular to the direction of propagation, and light is an electromagnetic wave. Most phenomena of light are explained as its wave nature. As light is an electromagnetic wave, apart from the visible light, the different parts of the electromagnetic spectrum, that is X-rays, gamma rays, infrared rays, they behave as a wave. And we know the electromagnetic wave, oscillating electric and magnetic fields are there, and they are perpendicular to each other and also perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So light behaves as a wave. And different phenomena of light are explained considering the wave nature of the light. But in case of kinetic theory of gases and radiation, if we consider kinetic theory of gases and radiation, to explain the different optical phenomena, we consider the wave nature of the light. But to explain the kinetic theory of gases and radiation, in this article, to study the spectrum of black body radiation, this spectrum of black body radiation cannot be explained on the basis of wave nature. Spectrum of black body radiation cannot be explained on the basis of wave nature. It needs the quantum physics. To explain this black body radiation, it needs a quantum physics, or it needs a particle nature of light. Here we consider the particle nature of light. So sometimes we consider the wave nature of light, sometimes we consider its particle nature to explain some phenomenon. It means it possesses the dual nature. Dual means two types of nature, that is particle nature as well as wave nature. Scientist Planck considered quantization of energy. Scientist Planck consider quantization of energy. To explain the particle nature, he considered the quantization of energy to explain the black body radiation. This phenomenon is expressed as a particle nature, and according to Planck, energy is emitted in the form of packets. Energy is emitted in the form of packets. This is the first assumption of this Planck's quantum theory. At high frequency, energy of the packet is large. At high frequency, energy of packet is large. That energy is given by h nu. H is Planck's constant and nu is frequency of the radiation. At high frequency, as h is constant, if frequency is large, at high frequency energy of the packet is large. These packets are also called as quanta or photon. Atoms behaves as tiny oscillator. Atom, according to this theory, atom behaves as tiny, that is very small oscillator. Atom behaves as a tiny oscillator and emits radiation in different packets. It emits radiations in discrete packets. It emits radiation in the discrete packets, and energy of these packets is given by E is equal to N into H nu. N is the integer, H is Planck's constant, and nu is frequency of oscillation of that atom. Nu is the frequency of oscillation. So here atom behaves as a tiny oscillator. It emits the radiation of the discrete packets, and that energy is given by N H nu. Nu is a frequency of oscillator or frequency of oscillations of that tiny oscillator. Emission occurs, emission of the radiation or emission of that radiation occurs. There is one condition: emission occurs when the oscillator jumps from one quantized level, when that oscillator jumps from one quantized level, that is a specific level, energy level, one quantized level to other level of lower energy, to level of lower energy. The emission of radiation occurs only when the oscillator jumps from one quantized level to energy of level of lower energy, higher energy level to other energy level, that is the lower energy level. Then and then only the emission occurs. And the scientist Einstein explained the photoelectric effect with the help of this Planck's theory. Scientist Einstein explained photoelectric effect by considering the Planck's theory. You know the assumptions of the Planck's theory. Already we have studied the assumptions of Planck theory, and scientist Einstein explained the photoelectric effect with the help of Planck's theory. Now what is photoelectric effect? Photo means light. Photoelectric effect. Electricity is generated from the light. The effect is photoelectric effect. Scientist Heinrich Hertz discovered this effect when ultraviolet light is incident on metal surface. Suppose these are the UV radiations, ultraviolet radiation. We know metal contains large number of free electrons. These are the free electrons. When this ultraviolet radiation is incident on the metal surface, the electrons are emitted. These are the electrons. Ultraviolet radiation means these radiations having short wavelength and having the high frequency. If such radiation is incident on metal surface or metal electrode, what happens? The electrons are emitted from the metal surface, and this phenomenon is the photoelectric effect. So photoelectric effect is the phenomenon of emission of electrons from metal surface phenomenon of emission of electrons from the metal surface when radiation of suitable frequency is incident on it. When radiation of suitable frequency this word is important. Radiation of suitable frequency is incident on it. The effect is called as photoelectric effect. Phenomenon of emission of electrons from the metal surface when the radiation of suitable frequency is incident on it. The surface which emits the electron is called as photosensitive surface. Photosensitive. Surface which emits the electron is called as a photosensitive surface, and the electrons emitted in this process are called as photoelectrons. Emission of the electrons from the metal surface when radiation of certain frequency is incident on it. The process is the phenomenon is a photoelectric effect. The surface which emits the electrons is a photosensitive surface, and the electrons emitted in this process are called as photoelectrons. For metals, there are certain metals. For metals like zinc, cadmium, these are the metals: zinc, cadmium, magnesium. Ultraviolet light or ultraviolet radiations can emit the photoelectrons. These radiations emit the photoelectrons. For the metals like zinc, cadmium, magnesium, ultraviolet radiation is necessary. That is the radiation of high frequency, or we call it as a short wavelength, is necessary to emit the photoelectrons. But for alkali metals, examples of alkali metals are lithium, sodium, potassium, lithium, sodium, potassium, cesium, rubidium. These are the alkali metals. For alkali metals, they emit the photoelectrons for ordinary light or for visible light also. For visible light or for ordinary light, they emit the photoelectrons. Hence, mostly the photosensitive material is used of the alkali, made up from the alkali metals, because they emit the photoelectrons even for the ordinary visible light. For these metals, zinc, cadmium, magnesium, ultraviolet radiation, that is radiation of high frequency, is necessary. But for alkali metals, they emit the photoelectrons even for the visible light. Hence, mostly the photosensitive surfaces are made up of the alkali metals. Now, in photoelectric emission, we know the metal surface emits the electron for certain frequency, and that certain frequency for which photoelectrons are emitted by the metal surface is called as the threshold frequency. Denoted by nu 0. So what is this threshold frequency? The minimum frequency of incident radiation for which photoelectrons are just emitted. Photoelectrons are just emitted from the metal surface. Or photosensitive surface. This is the minimum frequency at which the photoelectrons are emitted from the photosensitive material or from the metal surface. We call it as a photosensitive material. It means if frequency of incident radiation is less than this threshold frequency, no photoelectrons are emitted. No photoelectric effect. No photoelectric effect or no photoelectrons are emitted. But if frequency of incident radiation is greater than this frequency, because this is the minimum frequency below which photoelectric emission is not possible, but if this frequency is greater than threshold frequency, a photoelectric emission takes place. Photoelectric emission takes place. The wavelength corresponding to this threshold frequency is called as threshold wavelength. Denoted by lambda 0. The wavelength corresponding to the threshold frequency is threshold wavelength, and photoelectric emission is possible if incident wavelength is less than the threshold wavelength. Incident wavelength is less than the threshold wavelength. So this is about the photoelectric effect and photoelectric emission. Now we see the experimental setup of a photoelectric effect. We see the one circuit diagram that explains the photoelectric effect. Experimental setup of photoelectric effect. It consists of one evacuated tube having two electrodes. This is evacuated tube having one side window like this. There are two electrodes in this tube. One is called as emitter and at the other end called as collector. So these are the two tubes. This is emitter denoted by E. This is collector denoted by C, and this is the quartz window W. Radiation from the source is incident on this in the form of waves, is incident here through the quartz window on this electrode, and electrons are emitted here. These are the photoelectrons. These electrons emitted are photoelectrons. Now this emitter and collector, they are connected to a commutator, or we call it as a reversing key. Commutator or reversing key, it is connected to a commutator. See here. it is connected to this commutator. This part is a commutator or it is a reversing key. Then this is a reversing key, or we call it as a commutator. There is a voltmeter here. Here there is a voltmeter. Voltmeter is connected to measure the potential difference. Voltmeter. There is one microammeter is also there to measure the current. This is a microammeter to measure the current in microampere. Then there is a variable resistance, we call it as a rheostat. Rheostat is there, variable resistance is there, and to this rheostat there is a variable power supply. Here there is a variable power supply. This power supply is variable. This is rheostat. Now here, this is a photosensitive emitter plate. This E is photosensitive emitter plate. Photosensitive emitter plate. This is a collector plate. These are the electrons, or we call it as photoelectrons. This W is quartz window. And this S is a source of light. This light is incident, this radiation is incident on the emitter plate. This part is a commutator, or it is a reversing key. Commutator, we call it as a reversing key. This voltmeter measures the potential difference. This microammeter measures the current. This rheostat is a potential divider arrangement, and here this part is a variable potential source. See here, this is variable potential source. So this is the experimental setup of the photoelectric effect. Now see here, this is a evacuated tube having side quartz window, two electrodes E and C connected at its ends. This E is a photosensitive emitter plate because it emits the electrons, hence it is called as emitter plate. This is collector plate, this electrode is because it collects the electrons emitted by the emitter. Then this emitter and collector are connected to a variable potential source, and there is potential divider arrangement to change the potential. To change the potential given to this emitter and collector can be changed. Potential given to emitter and collector can be changed. When the radiation of suitable frequency is incident on this emitter plate, that is whose frequency is greater than the threshold frequency, this emitter emits the photoelectrons. Normally, this collector is at positive potential. Then if it is at positive potential, it attracts the electrons, or if this C is at positive potential, it accelerates the electron towards it. And this electron current flows through the circuit we call it as a photoelectric current. Generally this C is at positive potential. It attracts the electrons emitted by the emitter. That electrons we call it as a photoelectrons, and when this photoelectrons flows through the circuit, we call it as photoelectric current flows through the circuit, and that is measured by this microammeter. The potential difference between emitter and collector is measured by using this voltmeter. We can change the potential by using the potential divider arrangement. Variable potential source is there. Now here we can change the potential of this collector plate. If this collector plate is at positive potential, it accelerates the electrons. And when collector is at negative potential, it retards the electrons. At a certain negative potential, no electrons are attracted by the collector. That negative potential given to the collector, for which photoelectric current becomes zero, is called as stopping potential. The current flows through the circuit when this collector is at positive potential, because it attracts the electron. When collector is at positive potential, the electrons are accelerated towards it. But if collector is at negative potential, it retards the electrons. And at a certain negative potential, no electron reaches the collector. That certain negative potential at which photoelectric current becomes zero is called as retarding potential or stopping potential. So here main thing is, radiation of suitable frequency must be incident on the emitter. That frequency must be greater than the certain minimum frequency. We call it as a threshold frequency. Then and then only photoelectrons are emitted. If this frequency is less than the threshold frequency, no photoelectrons are emitted. And if that electrons flows through the circuit, we call it as photoelectric current, and it is measured by the microammeter. Now in this experiment, the variation of photoelectric current can be measured by considering 4 points. Variation of photoelectric current can be studied using 4 ways. First is with intensity of frequency of incident radiation can be studied with first frequency of incident radiation. That variation can be studied with intensity of incident radiation. Intensity of incident radiation. This is the second factor. Potential difference between emitter and collector. Difference between E and C, that is emitter plate and collector plate. And fourth is nature of the emitter plate. Nature of emitter plate. So these are the different factors. We can see the variation of photoelectric current with these factors. So this is about the experimental setup to study the photoelectric effect. Okay students, now we stop here. Thank you.